Alright, yo, 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 it's your boy Yoshi Kid Neo, and we are back in the world of Boridil, the adventures of Boridil. Today's session should be pretty simple, actually. I believe they're only going to be running the combat encounter that I have planned for them out on sea, and then after that, they will eventually be getting to Skullport, but I do not anticipate them actually going through and do anything in Skullport, except for landing. Past that, I haven't really thought up exactly what I want to be populated in Skullport just yet. But I've got some really good ideas. So hopefully you enjoy. All right. So last time we left our heroes, you guys were just getting ready to embark on a sea adventure to go and essentially help your new companion Zuka, aka King Rakim from the Cyrodiil Empire, which is right here. Let's see. After you guys had agreed to helping him out, you ended up going to find a couple of folks that would help to make your journey a little bit easier. The main one being that of Trindoz, a follower of Kasuth, one of the Lightbringers of the world. Um, and he had told you about a location in the Sleepy Peak that had harbored one of these, what is it called? The Pillars of Light. If that Pillar of Light is to be rekindled and relit, Kasuth will essentially have all of his powers restored over a, blanket amount of time. He doesn't know exactly how long it'll take or what kind of limitations it will bring, but he does know that in time he will be able to help King Rakim take back Cyrodiil from those that have stolen it from him. So the agreement is that you help Trindoz relight the pillar, saving his comrades along the way, and in turn they will use their powers with Kasuth to take back Cyrodiil under the Luxodon rule. The only issue that you have is how are you going to get there? Because you guys do not currently hold any type of magic to teleport you over there, and you have not met anyone with any type of teleportation magic. So, Trindoz uh, didn't really have an answer for you, especially because of the fact that you have King Rakim, the only known free Luxodon, as the rest of them are currently enslaved in the Cyrodiil capital by the Titanians and the Orcs. So, to just start waltzing your way in Titanian controlled territory, which is the whole bottom three quarters of the bottom, everything below this line that I just drew is Titanian controlled territory as of now. And to just waltz in there with King Rakim would more than likely be a suicide mission. But luckily, your good friend Joker was was close by and overheard your conversation. And he had some valuable input. He gave essentially a task to King Rakim. If he is to deliver a item to somebody that he's going to meet at the location that they will arrive in on the continent, then he'll make sure that the passage over there is secured. His contact will also be able to essentially find you guys a few different options on how to get to the Sleepy Peak with minimal Titanian, what is it called? Influence, I guess. All King Rakim has to do is take an item and hand deliver it to somebody. and that somebody will essentially have some sort of token that they'll show King Rakim in order to let him know that he's the contact. In order to get this boat ride, in order to get over there, King Rakim just has to show up at the docks in the next 24 hours, and the captain of the vessel that will take you guys over will be readily available. So you guys went and did a little bit of shopping to get everything that you could possibly need for this journey, and proceeded to the docks. Once you got to the docks, that is when you met the gentleman that you were going to be sailing with, Captain Varnus, which I will actually bring him out. Okay. This is Captain Varnus, a water genasi from the looks of it. And he is sailing on a ship that you could see the name of the ship was painted over just recently to be called the Sea Nymph. You guys embarked on your journey and had started to set sail, in which he had told you it would take maybe 3 to 4 days, depending on the weather and if the winds favored the vessel or not. During this time, I believe Rakim was down in his room for most of it, whereas the rest of you were on top deck, kind of just enjoying the different scenery that comes with being on the open waters. Eventually, as everything started to come to a close, Captain Varnus had what's it called? Challenged Angelica to an arm wrestling match, in which Angelica proceeded to beat him. Afterwards, he went for a rematch of Double or Nothing on their wager, and Angelica, with the help of Snoopy's distraction with a cannon, was able to completely smash him into the table and onto the deck, in which you could tell that Captain Varnus he wasn't angry about it, but he was definitely aroused.
Yeah.
And from that from that moment on, that's when Zuka had finally exited his room and came up topside. So we'll start our session real quick because there was a detail that I had forgotten to give Rakim, and when he said that he went to his room. So for you, Gerald, as you went to your room, um, you end up seeing. I think my foundry just froze. Okay, we're good. You end up seeing what's it called? Like on the bed that you're going to be sleeping in, you see a sort of like tan cloth that's wrapped around something that's somewhat large. Think of like one of those big ass encyclopedia books at the library. It's about that size and it is of that shape. It's just a little more rounded instead of being like a perfect rectangle. And it is there lying on your cot. You're muted, by the way. Actually, I don't.
Hmm.
I guess he's not there.
No,
Hello,
I'm
Gerald.
good. I'm
Okay.
good. What's up?
So we start our session with you going into your little cabin, since you spent most of the first couple hours of sailing down there. And the first thing you notice when you guys walk, or when you specifically walk into the cabin area that you guys are going to be staying in, you see one of the cots there with what looks to be some sort of tome wrapped up in some heavy cloth, a heavy tan cloth. The size of the tome is about that of one of those large encyclopedias from a library, except for uh, it's not as square. It's more angled on the corners instead of sharp edges, and it just lies there on your cot.
So like we all have our own separate beds, right?
Correct, yeah. And you are the only one that came down here from what I remember last session. Everybody else stayed top deck.
I'm gonna pick it up. Is it heavy?
It is actually. It is about 30 pounds or so. And it throws you off guard because you go to grab it and you're like, oh, it's just a book or something. And you try to just lift it with one hand and realize that's not going to be an option. So you grab it with both hands and you lift it up, and it's extraordinarily heavy.
I can't lift this with one hand. Like
Your
what the
strength
heck?
score. And
Oh,
like because it
I
throws
thought
you
my
off, you're like, oh shit, and you aren't able to just like lift it because you're just going whimsically to lift it up, thinking it's a book. But after realizing how heavy it actually is, you can get a better grasp on it and lift it up with one hand.
okay.
And despite it being covered in that tan cloth, you do feel a pretty powerful surge of magical energy as you lift it.
Oh, well, dang. This thing is this thing is pretty. I'll kind of like shake it up, just kind of inspect it a little bit.
Right. I assume you do so without uncovering it.
No, I'm not gonna uncover it, just to see if it like makes a noise or
Okay.
anything like that.
Nope. It seems to be a single solid item that's just wrapped up. You don't really like. You can tell based on you sort of pluck it with your finger or tap it rather, and
Hmm.
it doesn't give that. It doesn't give that like reverb from when you tap the back of a book. It actually sounds more of like some sort of mineral.
Mm, okay. I guess um, I guess I'll stick it under the bed. Well, actually, no. I'll just hold on to it
Okay.
because I don't know what to do with it.
Okay. So you take it and then you put it under your bed, and underneath the bed there's a couple different items. You see a wooden bucket that's there, uh, probably for those that get seasick and have to hurl. You also see some extra blankets and pillows and things like that. But otherwise, there's nothing real notable. So if you're trying to hide it under the bed, as opposed to just having it lay out in the sort of open, you are able to do so if you wish.
Yeah, I'll hide it just for safekeeping, just to keep it somewhere where I know it is.
Okay. So you lay it there, and then you look around and you've noticed that none of your companions have come down to your chambers. Your shared chambers, I should specify. There are multiple other cots, all of them the same. Most of them are pretty much bunk beds. So you got a lower bed, a middle bed, and then a top bed. So there's like three stacks of beds. And from what you can tell is that this is the only one that is currently occupied, and it is occupied by you now. All the
Yeah.
other ones are they've got clean sheets and things like that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just like uh put like take my bag off and just put it right there, so I know that that's my bed. And then I'll just go up and see what everybody else is doing.
Okay, and so as you leave, you can hear sort of a crowd that has gathered together, and let's to the proper real quick. As you start to leave the room, you start to hear a bunch of singing, and you can actually hear a bunch of cheering as well. And then, as you're climbing up the ladder to get to the top deck, you actually hear one of the cannons fire off. As
So
you
I kind
come
of.
up to the top,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, as you come to the top, you see that everybody is cheering. They continue to sing. You see Snoopy on one of the cannons as he's just lit it, and he's sort of got a group around him that are sort of helping him to light this cannon. And on the deck itself, you can see the captain lying there with Angelica standing over him. You see two barrels that they were probably sitting at, and you see a table that has recently been split in two.
I'll go to a crewmate and just be like, hold on, what just happened?
Ah, the captain thought to take on your friend in a wrestling match and lost very, 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 very badly. Your friend is some sort of abomination, I believe. I've never seen a woman so strong before. Where did you meet that lass?
I laugh and just say, an abomination is right. But I'll, I'll just let them know we met her at the city.
Highly doubt she came from the city, unless it's some sort of sick science experiment. But otherwise, she definitely is very strong. I'd keep close to her.
Noted. Yo,
As
whoever that is got that voice though.
you just hear Maeve just singing.
Is she?
This is-
No,
Is she sing? Oh, okay.
she is not
no,
singing.
you should totally make that her voice. That's just a hidden talent of hers.
I'll change it since, yeah, I've never heard that song before.
I thought something was about to happen. I'm like, yo, is that a siren? Like, are we fucked?
Nah. I just happened to be one of the sea shanties in there that I didn't listen to.
Wait, if I roll for something, does that mean I have to take it? Like, just for fun? Roll like performance. And if it sucks,
Yeah,
then it's
roll.
actually not me. But if it's good, then it is me.
So you want rolls without consequences? Okay.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, go ahead and roll some performance then if you want to attempt singing.
Oh,
So you start to sing, and
middling.
it's not that you're bad. It's just no one can really hear you over Cadfan because he's ah 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 ah. And you realize that every time you try to sing, Cadfan tries to sing a little bit louder than you, even with you telling him to stop it and knock it off. And he acknowledges you when you say something, but then you go back to singing again and you realize not worth trying. And everyone kind of looks over at you puzzled, and they're like, whatever. And they start singing again.
And when cat fans going at it, I go, oh, hi, Charlie.
I'll try to join in with the crew singing.
You add a very, very low bass.
Yes,
and
that's exactly
and
what it
it's
is.
but it gets to the point to where it's so low that a lot of the rest of the sailors have stopped just to kind of like watch you, and eventually it's just you going, hey, bully in the alley, where, bully in the alley, and you like you've got your eyes closed and you're just singing, and eventually you hear no one else singing, so you open your eyes and realize everyone's just staring at you.
No, tough crowd, huh?
Not that we're tough. It's just little off-putting that well, you're a female and you sound way deeper than any of us. Actually, all of us combined. So it's kind of a little bit of a spectacle.
Oh,
No offensive or anything like that. Obviously, you've earned your place amongst men, especially after putting the captain down in the brig.
hmm. I give him a raised eyebrow. All
The
right.
captain finally stands up and he pats the dust off of his shoulders, and you can hear him as he starts to like his shoulders are popping from all the stretching he's doing. He's like, "Yes, I must say you are quite the spectacle. What exactly are you, might I ask?"
All right. I mean, I guess you can call me a demon. Definitely wasn't born here.
Here is in this plane of existence?
Exactly.
Boy,
But
very interesting, so.
I was raised by a normal family, so I'm normal enough, right?
I don't know if I'd consider you normal, regardless of where or who raised you.
True. Hey, but you're blue, so what is normal exactly?
Well, I think normal is something that's born on the material plane myself, and I just so happen to have been born on the material plane. You coming from elsewhere, that's definitely abnormal. But I can appreciate it.
True. Well, I'm glad you do. I try to make my way amongst the people. Don't want people thinking that I'm here to like rule the world or something like that.
Well, I'll say that definitely puts me at ease. Because I'm almost certain that if you're this strong, I can only imagine your friends and comrades are at least of somewhat equal strength.
Oh yeah, and I do like a slick point towards Snoopy. That's not just any dog.
That I've also come to notice.
I whip
Uh,
my head, like turn around while I'm like standing on a cannon.
yeah, that pupper is yeah, he does a little more than just bite.
Yes, he seems to know his way around the cannon as well. What's his
Scary, right?
past?
Well, as far as I know, uh, he's a sentient dog that was granted his sentientness from his masters.
The hell was that?
The hell was that? What the fuck?
That would sound like someone trying to clear their mic but forgot to push mute first.
Wasn't me.
Was it
It
Gerald
was
then?
definitely probably Gerald because like he didn't respond.
Bro, he just went full blown. You got an N64 cartridge over there? Fuck.
Alright, big bad wolf over here.
Golly.
But yeah. Only thing I know is he was granted his ability to talk from his master, and his master did, and I know he definitely wants to grab some stuff from where his master was. That's about all I know, though. And yeah, no, just from his actions and his ability to fight. That's definitely has experience. That I don't know where from.
Well, very interesting. Perhaps maybe that's why Joker wanted me to keep you all safe on our little voyage here. He must have found some sort of usefulness out of you all. It's not very often that someone gets their way paid from Joker himself.
Really? He paid? Wow.
Most certainly did. And as he says that, he turns around and he snaps his fingers, and all of the crewmates hear this. They look and they start to disperse and go about their own business. You can tell that they're actually starting to get the ship ready for the skeleton crew as it's getting later. And they're getting everything prepared to make sure that you guys are able to essentially sail through the night with very minimal issues. And he turns back to, yes, he paid your way and told me that I'm to take the safest route to our destination. I'm not usually told that, especially after he dropped off a package for your friend, and he sort of nods over to Zuka.
Ah, well, I can tell that one's going to be holding a lot of secrets.
Oh yes, Joker is not an open book by any means. In fact, I've known him for almost a decade, and I still don't know how to read him.
Man, but in all honesty, he's definitely my favorite of the people we've met so far.
I heard he likes a good joke.
If he's your favorite person you've met so far, how long have you been in the City of Guilds?
Only about a week.
I would say a week's enough time to meet someone more likable than Joker. You must have had the wrong crew.
Well, yeah. Usually I roll on my own. Figured I'd tag along for once. Doesn't hurt that being around people who have like a common goal of adventuring. Plus, the drama's kind of entertaining, even though it's kind of tedious.
I understand that. I understand that very well. I used to be an outcast of sorts, I guess you could say, until I founded this crew. And I can say that once you find your family, whether it's your birthright or one that you create yourself, that's how you know you're home. I'm
Amen to
glad that you
that.
found some semblance of a family.
Yeah, wouldn't say family, but I can at least rely on them to watch my back, right?
Yeah.
True. Now, King Rakim, that is your name, correct?
Oh, I didn't even know I was in the vicinity of y'all talking.
Yeah, you are. You came up to the top deck, didn't you?
Yeah, but I didn't know if I was like over there. But did I tell you that?
No, Joker did though. I take it you're keeping it a secret.
Yeah. Trying to keep that on the down low.
Well, a little word of advice. If you want that to keep on the down low, you should fake your death next time. Everyone knows that the only Luxodon that's freely roaming the world is King Rakim, if he's still around, and you being
Which he's
here,
not.
you are.
Nope, he's not still around.
I'll tell you, I did just come back from a voyage from the location we're headed to, and you
Oh, yeah?
are the talk of Titania.
Which means whatever happens, we have to crack some heads if we end up encountering one of them, right?
That would be my guess, yes. I don't believe the Titanians are looking for you to have a nice, quaint chat. I could be wrong, though.
Man, first we have a dog shitting on one of their boots. Now we got a literal suspect, a wanted
Your
felon.
dog took a dump on
I'm
one of
not
their
wanted, and I'm not a felon. I've done nothing wrong.
That's what they all say.
Yeah, but that's what I know.
But yes, all right. The dog shat on the Titanian's boots, and she definitely did a number on us.
Hold on, she?
Yeah, some redhead girl had a elf guy who was playing the lute. Son of a bitch! I almost ripped his head off.
I'm actually quite surprised that if you tussled with her, or that duo, that you survived.
Yeah, she definitely, quite literally, tried to take my head off. Slit my throat.
She did that to
Wasn't
a
very
couple of
fun.
my crewmates when we were transporting her from Titania to here. She is quite the spectacle.
Yeah, I can't wait to if I come across her again. I swear I am ripping her spine out and putting it straight up her ass.
Hold on, so you traveled with this person before?
I did, yes.
She paid you for it?
Not
Or
in
was
the
this...
sense that you would think of payment, but yes.
Oh.
It was not a two-sided agreement, I assure you.
So you're
in a
not
way,
exclusive to Joker. Is
Hold on, say that again? I didn't hear everything.
I asked if he's like exclusive for Joker. Like, does he work exclusively for Joker?
No, I don't say that I work exclusively for anyone. More of a freelance pirate, but I don't take every contract that comes my way. In her contract, I did not want to take, but when it's between sailing someone secretly across the channel or dying, it's quite easy to make a decision.
Hmm.
The
I guess that's a fair deal.
Titanians, yes, I agree. The Titanians were doing something. They were trying to expand in secret, I believe, and she was the first of these to do so. I don't believe that they've started any sort of conquest off of their continent, but I don't think that it's out of the realm of possibility within the next month or so. They are preparing for something, that's for sure.
What other weird sorts have you gotten on this ship before? Besides us, I mean.
I've had all manner of folks come and go. I've transported illegal contraband, munitions, slaves, you name it, I've done it, more than likely. As freelance work, I can't really be picky with my contracts if I wish to see any bit of coin.
And I'm
But in
sure you
terms
had
of
your fair
the
share of fun.
oddities, I believe the Titanian was one of the oddest members that I've ever had to transport, mainly because of the fact of how nonchalant she was in her conversations with us all. It's almost as if she wanted you to try to hit her.
As he says that, I see my eyes glowing up, and I'm just balling my fists up, remembering that.
Yes, I think she takes pleasure in allowing folks the first strike and then showing you your proper place rather swiftly.
And that first strike meaning a shit on her boot.
I do commend you for that. And he takes his hat and sort of he flips it off towards Snoopy and gives you a small bow and then puts his hat back on. I don't think I'd have the guts to do anything like that. Granted, it's not really good form to lower one's trousers in front of a highly trained assassin.
I sit up like kind of proud. Like I think I disrespected her family with that poop too.
Well, good on
But
you.
I think I said this is this is what I think of your sister, and then I did that.
Oh dear.
Worth it.
Oh
It
yes, very
totally
much so.
was not worth it. We almost died that day. But if I would have just ripped that elf's heart out, that would have been. Alright, well, never mind that. If I
Worth
come
it.
across her again, she's not getting away.
Well, I hope
You're
so
in
as
luck.
well.
She's right here.
Oh, would you look at that?
She is not there.
Oh, would you look at that? Round 2, baby.
Well,
But yeah.
it is starting to get quite late, so I hate to be a buzzkill, but the captain has to wake up before the rest of the crew.
All right, Captain Crunch. See you around. Well, I guess if you're taking it in for tonight, I don't sleep, so I could stick around with the crew up here.
Well, yes, if you wish to do so, I'm not paying anything extra, as you're already taking up quite a bargain being on this vessel in the first place, but I would appreciate any help that you can lend to my men.
Oh yeah, money. I'm relying on him, and I give Zuka a pat on his arm. Relying on him. That pay better be worth it, buddy.
Um, Zuka starts to cough because, like, well, never mind. Actually, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that.
Luca's not going to cough?
Yeah, I'm just
Why
gonna
won't-
go. Oh,
How
huh?
many calls, man?
No, I'm just not gonna do it. So, I guess as you're doing that, he's just like, oh, okay, kind of like that, a little under.
Well, good night, gentle folk. See you in the morning. And
Yes,
then
you
Maeve
all-
and Catfan are gonna head down to the bunk.
Oh, Maeve, you don't want to stay up with me and party?
Unlike you, I need to rest. So,
Oh, excuse me.
Sorry.
All right.
As do the crew. So if you do plan to party, I would prefer you keep it to a low whisper.
I gotcha. Yeah, woo. And that is our gesturing sarcastically.
Perfect. Well then, you all have a wonderful rest, and we'll see you in the morning. We make sure to have breakfast ready and served by 7:30, although it is rather tough if you're not used to reading the stars and the sun alignment. But when you start to smell porridge, you'll know that breakfast is served.
Noted.
thank you.
You're rather welcome. And he tips his hat down and then starts to head up one of the many different like sort of staircases to go towards the back side of the ship. Before you see him take a key off of a chain around his neck, unlock a door, open it, and the door closes behind him. You see the remaining few sailors starting to get everything finished up. They're tying off some of the sails, which have gone. They're not full mast currently. They're in between full and half. So I guess 3/4 sail. They've lit a couple of different torches and lanterns around the deck so that everybody's able to see. And there's only like a handful of them, like 5, that are finishing up things. And after they do that, all right, it was wonderful meeting you all. Perhaps maybe tomorrow morning we could share stories over some breakfast. You all have a wonderful night now.
I give a salute.
Good night.
And they go down to where their bunks are, which are a couple decks down. And after they all leave, you all realize that you're the only ones that are on the deck of the ship.
Well, if you guys need to get the rest, go ahead. I don't need sleep. I can keep watch.
What time is it?
It is roughly 11 p.m.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I guess I'm going to.
Can I get up to the crow's nest
Sure.
with the?
Wait, literally all the sailors are gone? Like not even the skeleton crew?
Correct. Skeleton crew more than likely hasn't been woken up yet as the last of the crewmates start to go down.
Oh, gotcha. But they will be coming.
Correct.
Okay.
From what you
All
can
right, well-
guess.
I'm gonna head down to our bunk then.
All right.
Night, folks.
I give a barbaric salute, pat on my chest.
What's a barbaric salute? Oh, okay.
Yeah, just beat
I
on
was
my
like, did
chest.
you flip me off? Like.
No, no, just like a fist on my chest.
So you open one of the doors that are on the main deck that leads into the sort of back half, the back half of the ship, and this is your crew quarters. And as you start to get settled, you can hear, before you close the door, you can hear somebody climbing up a ladder. And as you're closing the door, you kind of just wait to just catch a glimpse of who it is. And as the person comes through, let's see, where is there? You notice, actually roll, I think Snoopy and Angelica are the only two that have seen someone that looks like this. So Zuka and Maeve, roll history for me. Okay. So you see this sort of armored, like this full body armor. There's a javelin strapped to their back. They've got a short sword and a shield at the ready, and they come up the ladder. You look towards their helmet, and it's just a sort of like black eye sockets there. You don't see any semblance of life or anything beyond them. No type of lighting. As the sort of flickering lamps and torches sort of reflect off of their metallic armor. You all know that these are Warforged, known as Nameless. They don't have any type of personality outside of whatever their masters have programmed them for. And about half a dozen of these Nameless come from below the deck, and they start to take on various tasks. One of them goes up to the wheel and starts to make sure that the ship stays on course. 2 of them manage the sails. One of them goes and checks all of the ballista and the cannons to make sure that they're properly organized with all the cannonballs, bolts, things like that at the ready just in case things pop off. One of them starts to head towards the crow's nest as Snoopy is teleporting up, grabbing on with his mouth on the ladder, teleporting up, grabbing on, doing that. and it starts to make its way up the crow's nest. And the other one looks to be standing at one of the ladders that descends into the lower decks, and he's essentially just keeping guard.
How tall is this mast? Because I can teleport 40 feet.
I believe on a galleon or a schooner or whatever, they're roughly 50. So it'd be 2
Damn.
teleports.
Well, I get up to the crow's nest as it's my normal resting place and start to fall asleep.
Okay. So as you sort of curl up, and the whole party has seen Snoopy teleport his way up to the crow's nest. As Snoopy gets up there, he curls up and begins to try to go to sleep, and you start to hear the clanking noise of the Warforged as it climbs its way up into the crow's nest, and it notices you there, but it doesn't seem to care. It pulls out its spyglass and begins to sort of scan the horizon and things like that. It does take care to move around you without disturbing you, as it's still able to complete its task without having to move you out of the way or anything like that. So you are able to sleep up there if you wish. As for Rakim, is there anything Rakim does, or does he just go to bed as well?
No, I'm just going to sleep. Just getting comfortable.
So Maeve
Yeah.
and Rakim go to sleep in the crew quarters. You two are the only ones in that room that you notice. Angelica, you're staying awake since you don't have to sleep. But are you just like, is there a specific spot on the ship that you would like to be, or are you kind of just like moving around?
What's around on the deck?
In terms of,
Like, is there like a there's a kitchen down below, right?
yeah, you guys have, there's a kitchen down below, and um, well, you haven't been to the crew
Well,
quarters
I
that you're
guess
assigned to.
I'm not even gonna. I guess I'll find like a spot, like a little small like little corner spot on the deck to like sit and then just pull out my journal and just start writing in it.
Okay. Very easy enough. So you actually head towards the front of the ship, and there you find a bunch of different barrels that are all sort of tucked away in a corner, and you're able to manipulate them in a way to where you have a nice comfortable chair and a table. Pull out your journal and you start to write.
Mm-hmm. Just
Roll me a
reflecting on
D100,
so far.
please. Okay. So sleep takes Rakim and Maeve and Snoopy. And about 3 hours into the night, so let me do one, two. So about 2 o'clock in the morning the next day, as you're sort of putting some finishing touches on your last entry, you start to write another one, and you hear somewhat of a loud crunching sound, and you can feel the ship sort of jerk to the side. And you're kind of off put, and you're like, what the hell? And you stand up and you look over starboard side, and as you're looking down, you see that a whale, a large blue whale, has just come up, and it seems to be or yeah, it just came up to the surface. It hit the ship, and then it sort of tried to scoot out of the way. And as you're looking over, like, this is the biggest creature you've ever seen, and you've seen a dragon. This thing is at least twice the size, just from what you can tell, um, of a dragon, and it blows all the water out of its blowhole, and you end up getting soaked. Snoopy, you're in the crow's nest, and obviously the crunching sound of some wooden planks it's actually quite loud, and just the abnormal like jerking of the ship wakes you, as well as Maeve and Rakim, and you jump up real quick. You see that the Warforge is standing there, just looking over port side or starboard side, and you look down and you see this whale. You see it blow all the water out of its blowhole, and you can see Angelica just get showered in salt water.
Ugh, son of a bitch. Do I notice anything else other than that whale?
Nope, you just see the whale come up for some air, and it drifts about 30 feet away from you, and it kind of stays up top for a little while. In a little while, I mean like 45 seconds to a minute, and it just seems to be kind of observing what this entity is. The entity being that of the ship.
Ugh. All right, and I guess I'm just wringing. Angelica's just wringing herself out, just like shaking her hands and in her arms and all that. Like, ugh, God damn it, whatever. And just get back to what I was doing.
Did you
As
say
you
like
look down,
2 p.m. or 2 a.m.?
AM. If I said PM, I misspoke, and I apologize. It is 2 AM.
I figured because I was still asleep, but I just want to make sure.
Yeah. As you get back to doing what you were doing, you notice that all of your journal is soaking wet. The pages are stuck together. Luckily, your ink has dried to where you haven't lost anything, but uh, you know that trying to write on wet paper is usually not a good idea.
Ugh, son of a bitch. And I just I shake the journal a little bit and then just close it up and put it back in my bag. Whatever.
Do Maeve and Rakim do anything in particular after being jerked awake from the whale hitting the boat?
No, Maeve doesn't hear any screaming, so she's just gonna go back to sleep.
Fair enough. I mean, there wasn't really a skill check involved, but if you want to, you can roll to see how delicate you handle your journal.
Sounds like he rolled a 5 out of 100, which is a 1.
Or like the lovely -2s that we've seen.
Tries to write in journal, gets destroyed.
Yeah, I'm not
Too
gonna
dark,
use
you
that.
use a knife and carve it up.
Yeah, because next thing you know, my pen is ripping through my journal. I don't want to do that. We're just gonna let it dry.
Other
So I
than
guess
that, yeah, the whale
uh,
ends up after that 45 seconds or so. It ends up going back underwater, and you can hear as it starts to dive. Like you can barely see it once it hits about 10 feet underneath the waves, and when it goes past that, it's pitch black. Even the moonlight isn't enough to help with the shimmer of its sort of blubber,
hmm.
and you lose sight of it. But you hear the sort of bellowing echo of its whale call as it starts to dive.
Well, would be beautiful if it didn't get me wet. And my journal. Is there any like points of interest around the ship?
Points
Possibly.
of interest. The top deck doesn't really have a lot going on. You've obviously got the crow's nest. You've got where the wheel is. There's a couple of different ballistas on the deck, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and then there's cannons that are on the side rails. Other than that, it's kind of just, there's some barrels and crates that are tied to the masts. More than likely, they are materials and things like that.
Okay. I guess all I'm doing is just out of curiosity, just going around the deck and like running my hand across the cannons and just whatever else I see, just out of curiosity and just interest in it.
Okay.
Just killing time.
The only thing is, as you are doing this, you notice that the Warforged that are not doing anything like sailing the ship or in the crow's nest, you notice that every time you start to sort of mess around with any of the barrels or anything like that, they all fixate their attention on you. They don't have any sort of aggressive stance. They're all kind of just standing there.
Making sure I don't do
T-posing
anything.
without the T-pose, They're just literally standing there still. But every time you touch a barrel or something, just to open it up to look what's inside, all of their heads swivel to look at you and observe what you're doing.
And as I noticed them doing that, I was like, not about to do anything, just curious, just looking around, trying to kill time. So, is this what you guys do? Do you guys just make sure nothing goes wrong? I'm looking like anticipation for an answer.
They just stare at you.
I guess not. All right, well, I'll keep it moving, and after I get done, just messing around with random stuff, touching random stuff, I'm just go back to the front part of the deck and just start doing push-ups and shadow boxing and everything like that, just to kill time.
Okay. So yeah, you kill quite a bit of time, and eventually you start to see and hear the crew from below the deck starting to wake up as it starts to crawl towards about 7 o'clock. At this time, as the crew start to populate the deck, one of them goes to a bell and they start to ring it, which essentially assembles everybody, wakes them all up. They start to get on with the day. You can see that the nameless remain at their posts until the crew start to come up from their slumber. After about half a dozen of the crewmates start to come up from the deck, or from below the deck, the nameless all leave their posts as they are relieved, and they head down below deck as well.
Dude, all right. Now you see me as the Warforged get ready to leave and everybody's getting ready to come back up, and I just start stretching and rolling my arms and everything, and then just looking out at sea, seeing if I can see anything.
Okay. So yeah, before the party obviously wakes up as well at the bell ringing. But Angelica, you head towards the front of the ship, and you notice that, everything around you for miles, all the way to the horizon, is blue. The sky is full, there's rolling clouds. You don't see any type of seagulls, you don't see any type of sea life, anything like that. And you also notice that the waves, it's not super choppy. It's actually pretty calm.
All right. Well, nothing happened all night aside from me getting soaked. But, not bad for the first night. All right. Guess I should check on the rest of the crew. See what my party's up to. And I just walk away from the front and look up at the crow's nest, and seeing if Snoopy comes down.
So Snoopy, you are currently up there. The Warforged has since been replaced by one of the crewmates, and he's up there. He's got a bowl, and you can see the steam coming out of it from the hot porridge as he's eaten. And after every bite, as he's sort of, letting it sort of sit in his mouth for a second just to warm up his body. He's looking around and just making sure nothing's going on before he swallows and takes another bite. He has noticed you there, but he hasn't noticed you wake up yet.
Alright, I like kind of wake up and do the good old doggy stretch forward and then arch my back. And then I go over to him eating. Does it smell good?
Oh, it smells wonderful.
I like. My dog is right now begging. Right now, so.
I hear that, yeah.
Just roll with it.
I just go and sit in front of him and tilt my head and then like lean down and give him the big puppy dog eyes.
And he looks over, and you see him like sort of licking the inside of his mouth, getting all the different bits off of his teeth and things like that before he swallows and says, "Aye, if you want your own bowl, go on down to the below deck. The chef's got a mighty large cauldron. Should be able to have seconds or even thirds."
I just like scoot closer and like kind of tap it with my paw and do even more puppy dog eyes and give a little.
I said, go get your own bowl.
Did you hear Charlie?
You don't. Yeah.
So we like
Little
turn around
beggars.
and like start going down the ladder.
That's a good pup. And when you start to go down the ladder, he puts the bowl up to his lips, and you can see him essentially chugging the rest of his porridge. And then he sort of wipes off his mouth, puts his utensils down, grabs the spyglass, and starts to look around. You end up,
okay,
going
yeah,
down. And
then
you get
I'm
with your
porridge.
teleportation, you get to the deck, and you head towards the sort of staircase that leads down. And once you get down there, you notice that it's kind of an open, a very open location with a bunch of different tables that run the length of the ship almost. And in the middle of these tables, there is a sort of a large cauldron with a small fire burning underneath it. And you can see a dwarf with a giant spoon just stirring it. And occasionally, when someone comes up with an empty bowl, he fills it with a single scoop.
I'll find a
Oi!
bowl. Yeah.
Who's
Oh, shit.
hungry?
I start like jumping.
Yeah,
Oh, me,
I
me,
don't
me,
think.
me.
Do we have any dog bowls for this little feller? And a lot of the crew kind of look up and they shrug at him. He's like, maybe I should just let him drink from the cauldron then. Might give it a little bit of flavor. And you see one of the crewmates kind of jump up and offer up his bowl. Ah, that's more like it. And he's
you like see everybody in the party like can see Snoopy like about to enter teleportation if they're watching him, like, and then someone like offered up their bowl that's about to blink into the cauldron.
you see Snoopy sort of like he's got his rear in the air as he sort of shakes it, getting ready to like leap into action before someone here, use my bowl. I'm assuming Rakim and Maeve, you guys end up going for breakfast as well, or do you stay hang back for a little bit?
Yeah, I think I want to see all this happening, so.
Yeah, I'm like, I walk down there as well just to. As an undead, do I still have my sense of smell and taste?
Yeah.
Bro, COVID knocks it out. There's no way you have it when you're dead.
Yeah, I go down and ask for a bowl as well.
They have other bowls for you. So as you come down, he starts to fill up the bowls and hand them out to you. That's right, enjoy your meal, and if you get hungry for seconds, come on up, and if you get hungry for thirds, you'll have to fight for it.
As he said, fight for it, and I arch an eyebrow and smirk. And
he looks at, as he, oh, you don't have to fight me, you gotta fight the rest of the crew for it. And they all look back and like, oh, you can have your thirds.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm not gonna need seconds or thirds. But appreciate it though. And grab the bowl.
And he kind of stops stirring for a second. You're not gonna need seconds or thirds. But look at you, you're a beast. You're almost 7 feet tall. I'm only 4 foot something, and I eat fifths if I can handle it.
And I scratch my temple. Yeah, it's a little bit complicated. A story for another time.
Well, we're gonna be out at sea all day, and I've already got lunch a-cooking, so perhaps maybe after breakfast you wouldn't mind sharing a story for a story.
Of course. Wouldn't mind it.
Perfect. I'll meet you topside then.
Alright. And take the bowl, and is Maeve and Zuka down there?
Yeah, they're currently in line. Well, Maeve is. I haven't heard Gerald confirm or deny if Zuka is down there. But I'm assuming he would be, since he does need to eat, for he is not undead.
Alright, I give them both a nod and a wink, and then head back topside.
I'll give a wave.
So as Snoopy has his bowl on the floor and he's just like slurping it up, he finishes it rather quick, and the dwarf already pours him a second helping. There you go, little one. You look rather hungry, almost as if your friends haven't fed you in quite some days. Poor little rascal.
It's just all over my face. It's like,
oh, that's a cutie. And he reaches in his pocket. Tell you what, and he pulls out a single sardine. Do you like fish?
I like. My head was in the porridge bowl. I like slowly lifted up.
Oh, you do like fish.
I sit.
That's a good boy. Tell me, which of your friends do you like the most? Do you like the elephant guy? Or do you like the edgy woman? Or do you like the big burly one?
Well, I haven't known the edgelord or the elephant for more than really a day. So the creepy red big one is my best friend.
And as you watch Angelica, she's walking towards the staircase right now, and she's got her porridge in her left hand. And he takes the sardine and he flicks it towards her porridge bowl. Bitch!
I blink onto it and eat it.
So Angelica, as you're walking, minding your own business, all of a sudden Snoopy appears right above your left hand, falls onto your porridge bowl, causing a big old splash, and catches a sardine in his mouth. The porridge gets all over your clothes. It gets all over some of the crewmates. They're like, "Oh, god damn it!"
I'm like eating the sardine. And then after like I swallowed, I like look around and go, what happened?
I'm like looking at the mess, visibly irritated.
Now that's funny. I don't care who you are. That's hilarious. And you see he's left his spoon in the porridge bowl as he's got his hands over his stomach and he's giving a nice belly laugh like he is laughing his ass off.
Mm.
I just look somberly up at Angelica. It was a sardine, man. I couldn't help it.
Mm. Like,
He ends up
I'm just
wiping the
not
tears
even
from
good.
his eyes. He's like, Angelica, if you would like a second helping, I think we can spare it after your poor little puppy friend had ruined your first.
Yeah. And like I'm like looking, still looking visibly irritated, and walk right back towards him. Second
And he
helping,
pours
please.
you a second helping. He's like, well, if you want another, you'll have to fight for it, unfortunately. Rules is rules.
Oh, that's looking more of a sure thing now. All right.
Oh. As you start walking away, Snoopy is licking up all the remains of porridge. Maeve and Rakim end up getting their porridge, and you guys can either go topside or you can sit at one of the tables.
I'm gonna go topside.
Okay. Gerald?
Are the crew still in here?
Yeah, a lot of the crew are still finishing up their meal before they head to work. You notice that some of them go back topside, some of them stay on this deck and start cleaning, others go to the next deck below and start doing who knows what.
I'm just gonna go back to my room.
Okay. So Angelica and Maeve and Rakim, you guys all get topside roughly about the same time. Rakim ends up going back to y'all's crew's quarters. And one thing you notice, Angelica and Maeve, Zuka, you notice it too, for sure. But you guys notice that Captain Varnus is currently at the front of the ship with a spyglass looking forward.
I walk towards him and then sit next to him, like basically like on the side of the ship, like with like one leg outside and one leg inside, just sitting on the lining of it. Like, what you see?
Okay.
As I
Maeve,
start
where do
like
you
munching
head?
on the food.
I'll follow. Or maybe actually, yeah. I'm gonna go talk to the captain while I'm eating. Just like walking over. See anything interesting?
Okay. And as Captain Varnus is looking out the spyglass, he doesn't look away as he starts to acknowledge you. I do not see anything, and that is what I'm most concerned about.
Hmm.
After he scans from left to right a couple more times, he peers down from the spyglass. What you notice is decorated very, very luxuriously. It seems to be made out of some sort of like white ivory material, and then it's got some gems that are essentially embedded in the large portion of the tube as the rest of it all collapses together, and he puts it inside of one of his coat pockets. Last time I saw the seas this calm was decades ago, and I thought it was the best fortune that a captain could ever find. But that day was the day that I lost my entire crew.
Hmm.
Ugh,
Well, that's not good.
well, that's
He puts a
quite
finger in his
dangerous.
mouth and sticks it up in the air. He's like, yes, these winds, they're enough to carry our sails, but they're not enough to rough up the waters. Which means that somebody or something is giving us our good fortune. At least that's
Hmm.
what I assume.
You may thinking it might be a calm before the storm type of deal.
Precisely. I don't know what stories you've heard or what information you've gathered in your City of Guild ventures, but as of roughly a year ago, the seas belonged to the demon lord Dagon. At least that's what I had been told. And I do know Dagon is around when certain occurrences happen. Luckily, I'm not seeing those occurrences now, but one thing that has remained certain is that the sea is choppy. It's almost impossible to maneuver without a second person on the wheel. And yet, we could possibly have no one at the wheel and remain on course. That's how fair these winds are for us. And I don't quite understand it. I don't
Hmm.
believe Dagon to be gone. In fact, I'm almost certain, if anything, he's outreached to even further continents.
Well then, I guess that's kind of reassuring. Not too sure. I've only been on a boat twice, including today.
Well, I hope today fares better than my ominous thoughts. Diana, I could not tell you. I don't like a calm sea. It makes you complacent. And I can already tell as he turns around to look at the crew, and he can see that some of them are kind of goofing off and stuff like that. And after a moment or two, they look over and notice that he's watching them, and they sort of like, get that little shock, like, I was just going over to tie some knots, and they walk away from each other and start getting back to work. See what I mean?
Hmm. How often do you guys run into trouble at sea?
Not very, actually. Last time I had trouble was about a few years ago, actually. More than likely, I'm the one that causes the trouble, believe it or not.
Well, let's hope that I hold up air quotes. The good fortune still stays with us.
I do so as well. I would just keep on your guard, is all. I don't believe anything will happen, but I just don't like that the sea is so calm.
Well, something gets worse here overnight. I'll make sure to let you know.
See to it that you do. And he winks at you.
Oh,
I haven't had my
by the way,
breakfast yet. Oh?
uh, by the way, do you happen to have like a change of clothes anywhere? And I'm like just looking at like the mess, like the food that fell on myself.
Oh, you didn't bring anything comfortable.
Uh, see about that. I have something, but it's definitely not combat friendly.
Oh? And he raises an eyebrow. Well, I don't see us in combat now.
I guess. All right. I might have to figure something else out then. I really don't want to wear that.
Well,
Thanks anyway, though.
perhaps maybe, if you need that much help, I could see if maybe there's something in my private quarters that would fit you.
All right. Appreciate it if you are able to, but if you're not, I'll figure something else out. It's okay. I wouldn't hassle.
Let me finish
But,
my meal and we'll get right to it.
All right. Appreciate it. Now to start munching on it. It's really good.
It is
And
actually quite tasty.
But yeah, I guess I'll talk to you later.
He tips his hat and then starts to walk below deck to go and grab some porridge for himself, leaving you and Maeve and various crew members just sort of, going around, getting the sails unfurled and things like that.
As like Maeve is still sitting there eating and looking around, I just start to just pop out what it was saying. It's really weird that I'm able to taste this but not feel like I'm satiating myself. It's like really weird.
I bet. I mean, are you able to digest the food, or do you have to like go throw it up later or something?
I'm not sure. Well, seemingly since like my
Or does
heart
it just
doesn't beat.
sit in your stomach? Can you feel it?
I guess I can. But I guess it's like
Yeah.
instead of digesting, it will just come out.
Huh.
Which
That is really
will
weird.
be very gross when that happens.
Is there something else that we need to get to sustain you?
No, I actually don't need to eat anything or drink anything. It's just wanted to taste something again, honestly. Haven't had the urge to eat anything at all since this happened to me. So it's just a little calming being able to at least taste again. I don't know, just my thoughts. No, you don't want to
Interesting.
hear my
That is weird.
undead rantings.
More like undead thoughts. I find it fascinating.
I guess. And I like continue like eating with like while swinging, like my leg is like hanging on the outside of the ship, just swinging my leg. Alright. So I guess what are you looking forward to on this ship? Did what the captain say like alarm you in any way?
Nothing alarming, really. I mean, it is a little strange that it's so calm, but like you said, we just gotta cross our fingers and hope that nothing happens. But I'm excited to explore more of the world.
Yeah, that too. I've only been on the ship once, and this is like the only other time that I've been on a ship. So, I don't know. I'm curious.
It's not my first time on a ship, but it's my first time on a ship like this. So.
Yeah, pirate ship. This is hilarious. They don't look like the pirate types.
Some of them do.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I know whatever crap that happens, I'm gonna be, unfortunately, the one that witnesses it first, since I don't need to sleep. That sucks.
Probably. But hey, at least thanks for having everyone's back.
Of course. Man, if I didn't have anybody's back, then, well, people have died already, so I can't say that. So, Maeve, tell me something. What's up with that crow that raven that you keep around?
Oh, Cadfan?
Mm-hmm.
He's, I guess what you could say is my familiar. He is a gift from my goddesses.
Yeah, thought it was something special like that because he got incinerated and now he's back.
Yes,
Sad.
he's a true friend. And he's gotten me out of many sticky situations.
So how often do you talk to your gods or your deities?
Not super often, just when I need to. It's getting easier talking to them though. I don't know if it's just because the connection's getting deeper or if I'm getting more powerful.
Well, I know my maker, quote unquote, my maker contacts me from time to time.
Hmm.
See how
It can be
I'm
pretty
doing.
intimidating, right?
Well, I mean, he's actually cool,
Yeah.
seemingly, but it is still, even though he doesn't want me to address him as such, he's still my master in the end. So at some point, I'm sure he's gonna tell me to do something, and I have to do it.
Probably.
So that's the big problem. I don't know. I feel like me being dead now, I need to perhaps do stuff that I want to do now.
Yeah.
If I have like a second chance, as
Yeah.
easily as I died last time.
Very true. I see death fairly frequently, so I definitely understand wanting to live your life to the fullest. Or, well, second life to the fullest.
Right. Well, oh no. And I slurp up the last bit of the porridge, and then set myself back up and get ready to walk. All right. Well, you you have anything interesting to do? Last night was really boring.
Um, Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
Ooh. How about a friendly spar?
I'm not that strong.
No. I mean, I promise I'll take it easy on you. Just want to show you some techniques, you know? It's like punch the air a little bit. Show
I
you what I
mean-
knew.
We can try, but I want to be able to use my scythe.
Okay, that's fine. I know a little bit of something about a little something, you know? And I give her an elbow nudge in the arm.
Does that like knock me over, or like am I pretty steady?
I would say that maybe like a slight nudge. You kind of like get a little off balance, but it's not gonna push you to the floor or anything.
Okay, cool. I've got some constitution.
All right, well, I guess if you don't have anything else going, just holler at me. I'm always down to mess around and do whatever.
Okay.
I head back down and get ready to place the bowl. Or I like head down and jokingly say, "All right, looks like I want a third bowl."
Oh, do you now?
Yeah.
Well, who wants to give up their third bowl to Miss Angelica? And a lot of them raise their hands, and he kind of goes, who doesn't want to give up their bowl to Miss Angelica? None of them raise their hands.
And I give a chuckle, like, I'm just kidding. All right, I'm done for the morning. So I guess, yeah, if you need help around here, let me know.
Oh, do you know how to cook?
Well, when I was living, I just knew how to cook little meats at a campsite, so I doubt I'm gonna be of any help.
You're right.
Well, if you don't,
I don't think there's really much, unless, well, how about this? And he goes sort of towards the wall, and you can see that there's a bunch of equipment that's just all around this area. But he goes and he grabs a what looks to be like pretty sure you've seen a rifle. Yeah, you guys were at Throne Dars, and he's got some. No, he doesn't. Were you there with Balrin? I don't think Angelica ever met Balrin, did he?
No.
No. Roll a history check then.
Yeah, only Snoopy was alive then.
Way to rub it in.
I mean, in theory, the rest of them were alive too. It's just they weren't around. Okay, yeah. So I'll say you haven't seen much when it comes to gunpowdered weapons or anything. But he pulls off what looks to be a very large metallic tube, and on one end there's like a small little handle with a sort of like a trigger mechanism. And he pries it off of the wall, and he grabs a couple of what looks to be smaller scaled javelins, and he comes over to you, and he's like, "This is a spear gun. The way you do it is you gotta pump it up full of air, and then you put your little bolt in it, your little javelin," and he shows you as he loads it. Then once you do that, you're able to shoot it. Yeah, roughly, I guess it really depends. If you do it from deck side, it's only going to go about 30 feet before you're at a huge disadvantage. But if you're under the water, you got double that range before it just goes off on its own. It's used
Ooh.
for catching fish underwater. So much easier than spear fishing. So if you get super bored, perhaps you could tie yourself onto the deck at some point, go on for a little swim, catch us something big.
Ooh.
And if you really want to challenge, perhaps maybe, maybe you could convince somebody to donate you a little bit of their blood and chum the waters.
Ooh. All right. I'll take note of that. Out of character, who has the cloak of manta ray?
Quinn did.
Which means
And
either
I'm
Snoopy or
pretty sure
myself.
he gave
have
it to Maeve, and
The
Maeve put
group
it
has
in
it.
the. And most of the stuff from the earlier party that's like not commonly used, I assume, is usually in Maeve's bag of holding.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't have it in my inventory, but we can pretend I have.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure
Alright.
I can make a. Sure, I can make an item called the bag of holding and actually put stuff in it. Should be under obtained. I'm gonna try doing that real quick, actually.
Well, I have a bag of holding in my containers. So are you talking about something else that has like a subcategory of items?
Well, let's see. Hold on. We should be able to. So that bag of holding, I don't think it does it. I'm gonna try something. But yes, someone does have the cloak of the manta ray, and we can just drag and drop it to your sheet, Angelica.
Cool. And then I have to attune to it as well.
No, this
Okay,
one
cool.
does not require attunement. So while wearing this cloak with its hood up, you can breathe underwater, and you have a swimming speed of 60 feet. And pulling the hood up or down requires an action.
Okay. I was gonna have that just in case I decide to do this whole thing.
Okay. Going to make a duplicate of the bag of holding. Going to change its sheet. Item sheet. That does. Neat. Let me bring it out real quick and change something. I want to see if I want to make all players owner. So if you could go to the items tab real quick, the items directory, which looks like the present. You should see what is called the bag of holding copy. See if you can open it.
Yeah.
Okay, So I think
Yeah.
what we can do is if you want something to be put in there, so like let me put the cloak of manta ray in there real quick. I think that's how it works. Ooh, do you guys see the cloak of the manta ray in there?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, okay, I don't think double clicking on it does anything, but it's pretty much just to show that it's in there. I'll have to figure out like more about, because this is one of the modules I have that allows you guys to like make a bag and then essentially, put stuff in it, so that you can be like, oh yeah, it's in my backpack or whatever. So for the bag of holding, we'll actually use this. So anything that you do put in the bag of holding, what we'll probably do is, well, I'll figure out what the best way to do it. But any party loot that you want in the bag of holding, just let me know. I think you can click and drag stuff onto it. I'm actually gonna try it with your flask real quick, Maeve. Yeah, okay, so it took it from your character sheet and put it into the bag of holding, and then you can click it from the bag of holding to your character sheet and it puts it back. So yeah,
Okay.
anything that you put in the bag of holding, you guys should be able to freely take out. Obviously, in order for the rest of you to take something out, you have to get Maeve's permission first. Um, and we can populate the bag of holding later, out of session.
Or you steal it and don't ask for
Yeah,
shit.
you can.
No.
That is true. You can
Naughty
try to
dog.
steal. But yeah, anyway, so she pulls the cloak of the manta ray out of the bag of holding and hands it to you.
Perfect. Thanks. And I guess I will chill out for a little bit.
Okay.
And just look out to sea.
Is there anything that Maeve, Rakim, or Snoopy want to do in particular on this day at sea?
I want to spar with Angie.
Oh, you do, huh?
Mm-hmm.
No. All right,
Okay.
and I guess how do you approach me with this? Are you just going to, hey, I want to do this?
Angie, let's fight.
Oh, I put the the harpoon gun down, and just to make it less hurtful, I take off my cestus and just crack my knuckles.
Yeah. Gotta
All
stay
right.
practice with Scythe.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll say that Rakim, you don't hear any of this because you went back to your room. But Snoopy, actually no.
Raheem is
All of
my
you
social
hear
intel.
yeah, all of you hear the crewmates go, "Oh, they're gonna fight!" So if anybody wants to be in this, they may. Otherwise, Rakim will go to whatever you're
I'm
doing
gonna
here in a second.
go up to the bow and sing the Pirates of the Caribbean theme as my ears flop in the wind.
Which one? The yo ho ho and a bottle of rum? Oh, okay.
Now he's really singing the song from Titanic.
Near, far,
Bum.
wherever.
That is now.
I can dig it.
You're gonna get pulled from YouTube, Brady.
Oh yeah,
I
copyright.
already get copyright claims all the time.
DMCA.
Yup. Okay,
All right.
so let me pull you guys
All
over
right,
here real
maybe
quick
cakes. Time for some practice. I've been wanting to stretch my muscles anyway.
So you guys should see your characters on the deck, right?
Hmm.
Mhm.
So far,
You
Zuka's
can
the
put
world's most
yourselves wherever you
antisocial
wish.
dude. I guess
Oh, you should.
we would be like right here. Well, I would be right there for the most part.
How
Okay.
does sparring work? Or are they like actually gonna like beat the shit out of each other and require rests after this?
I
Yeah.
mean, if they're using lethal weapons and stuff, yeah.
Nah, I'm going unarmed and non-lethally.
Bro, your arms are lethal.
Now, yeah,
That's what you use.
yeah, yeah. Your punches will use unarmored damage and stuff, or unarmed strikes. That is the least amount of damage I believe that you can do,
Mm-hmm.
unless you guys trade out. I'll say that the folks on deck do say, do you want training weapons instead, perhaps? Or would you rather just go at it? Either way will be entertaining, but I think what you're doing is the best route. Your choice, though.
Yeah, I guess. What are training weapons for? Like, do they have like training ceastas?
Do they have a training scythe or no?
They're
Okay, then yeah, I'll
essentially
switch
just
mine
like,
out.
yeah, they're essentially like rubber plated in a way, I
Okay.
guess, or just made of like some, like those training samurai swords. They're kind of like that, I guess, to where like they hurt, but they don't inflict a lot of damage. Obviously, if you keep beating the shit out of someone with one, eventually they might die. Uh,
Yeah.
and I'll say that like it uses the exact same damage or attack roll as your normal Ceastus or your normal Scythe, but the on hit is always going to be just 1 damage.
Yeah. I guess. So I guess
So you'll
essentially
still
like a
just
training
roll your
ceastas.
Scythe, you'll roll your Ceastus, yeah, and instead of us taking whatever damage is calculated, we will literally just take 1 damage is applied on hit.
So essentially, they're giving me it's like some 1910 boxing gloves, basically, like where they just rubber.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's do that. All right, love. Are
Okay.
you ready to get this done? As I'm like rolling my arms.
Was that an attempt to copy their accents?
It truly was.
Oh,
Did
dear.
I do good?
Okay.
All right, starting us off is Maeve.
Woo! Okay. I am gonna attack with the scythe. Oh wait, why didn't it roll?
All right. So a 20 does hit. So you take 1 damage, Angelica.
Hmm.
Cool. And then
Of course, you gotta get. I think you've got a reach of 10 feet. You had to at least walk up a little bit from where you started.
It said 30 feet on it. Was that for something else?
That is for something else. I don't know. I think that might be the.
That'd be so sick. It'd be like Roadhog
Yeah.
from Overwatch.
No, so that's the War Scythe of Terror. You're using a training scythe, so you've only got like the reach and stuff. The terror
Okay.
thing, you can make enemies within 30 feet do a thing.
Okay.
Yeah, you still got movement if you wish to use it.
Huh. No. How much did I move forward? Just like 5 feet?
Yeah, you've only used 5 feet so far.
Where am I gonna go? Let's see. I'm gonna hide behind Rakim. No, I'm just kidding.
Ain't no running away from me. Just nuzzling up to my leg
Wait.
now.
Didn't it move? Move! I'm gonna run up to here.
Okay.
Alright, Maeve, sweetie pie. Where you going?
Away!
I'll take it easy on you for right now. I just hit her with a 3-piece.
The first one misses, second one hits, third one misses. So, Maeve comes up and she extends the scythe and hits you across the left shoulder, and then as you're sort of off balance, she then runs past you, which you then turn and run. And as she turns around to get her balance, you're right in her face. You push, you pull off a right hook or right thrust, miss. You come in with the left hook, hit her right across the face, and then you go in for a right uppercut, but miss. Everybody around's like, yeah!
And now it'll be the end of my turn. I end that was. Oh, come on, Missy. Show me what you got.
All right, Maeve, you're up.
Oh dear.
24 does hit
Cool. And
for
then
1 damage.
and I want to do trip. I want to trip her.
Okay. Up on trip again. Trip, if you're successful, you can choose to deal only your strength mod and damage, which will count as a 1. And I need a strength or dexterity saving throw from Angelica. You get to choose which one.
Damn.
Ooh, that is a fail. So you are knocked prone,
Ooh.
and you take 1 damage.
Cool. Oh. Just so you know, Angie, I haven't been using CAD fan, so you're welcome. And then I like run up the stairs.
Oh, I'm liking this already.
Wait, why can't I go up the stairs? Okay, there we go.
You can. So if you want to do an attack of opportunity, Angelica, you can, but it's at disadvantage because you're prone.
Okay.
15 misses.
How
So
far
as Maeve runs up the stairs, you try to swipe at her, but she jumps over, getting onto the stairs and running up, laughing the whole way. With that, it should be Angelica's turn.
All right. I guess how much movement does it take to stand up?
Half.
Half. Okay. Cool.
Unless you take the, what is it? I don't think it's mobile. It's the athletic feat. I think it only takes 5 feet of movement to stand up.
Mm-hmm. All right. So out of the way, I'm getting to you.
I mean, you gotta
I didn't run
go
far
up
enough.
the stairs. You can't be jumping.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta go up the stairs.
Rawr.
Okay.
And then going.
Wait, what's your movement?
He moved 20.
Yeah, my movement's 40 as a whole.
Oh, you got 10 more than.
And then I'll just go ahead and give her a 3-piece.
Hit. 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 So as Maeve takes her scythe, she does a fake, which you put both arms up to try to block, and she comes back around, gets right around your ankle, and pulls the scythe back, making you fall. And as you fall, you kind of flip yourself kind of like a cat and get yourself in a push-up position, ready to spring back up, run up the stairs as she's running away. And right as she starts to turn around, you lay out your first punch, and you hit her in the back of the head. Then you hit her in her left kidney, and then with both hands you come up and both hands above your head, and then you whack her right on the top of her head. All for a measly 3 damage, but but everyone's like, "Oh, that one had to hurt," and Maeve's kind of like, "Oh, fuck," because it doesn't feel good, even though it's just 1 damage. It still does not feel good at all.
And then on that note, I'll end that with saying, "You're lucky I'm not angry."
You're lucky we're not actually trying to kill each other. Because I'm not even using my spells.
You're up, Maeve.
Actually, I take that back. I am going to use a spell on you.
All right,
Okay.
it's about to be fair game. Don't do it.
Oh, whoops. I have to click on her first?
To make it to where she does a so do a Constitution check, Angie.
Okay.
So you failed, so you are now levitating. How far do you want Angie to go?
Let's see. I want her to go up 5 feet. Oh wait, how tall is the bow? Like if I put her over the middle portion of the ship, like if she dropped, would it hurt her?
It would. She would take
shit.
1d6 of damage. It's
Uh-oh.
10 feet between each portion of the deck.
Okay, what if I moved her over and then dropped her 5 feet and then over the rest of the way?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
So it'd only be like a 5-foot drop? Okay, cool.
So about right there, and then she's suspended 5 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna move. Bye!
Okay. So let's see. The only way you can move is if you're able to grasp onto anything. And currently there's nothing within 5 feet of you because you're just like literally suspended up in the air. So yeah, you're kind of stuck.
Alright. So I guess. Yeah, I guess I'll just.
Are you gonna like try swimming in the...
I mean, is that a mechanic that I could use?
No. Yeah, according to the levitate spell, the only way for you to move is if you're able to physically touch something that's, sturdy, so that you can move yourself and propel yourself. Otherwise, you don't get any other saves. You're just kind of stuck there.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna sit here.
Cool. I am gonna move over here. Where? Whoa, where am I going? Okay. What the heck? I did not want to go that far. So Maeve's sticking out 5 feet away from the rail, right? Or was it 10 feet?
If you sit right there on the rail, you're within scythe range.
Cool. I'm gonna smack her on top of the head.
Okay. That's a miss.
Damn.
So you go in for a swipe, and Angelica's still able to like sort of like move her body a little bit to like sort of like just
She
do
did a little
gymnastics
swim.
in the air. Yeah. But everyone's like, "Oh, you're a sitting duck now."
Cool, I'm
You're
just
playing
gonna, like-
dirty.
I'm just gonna sit there with like my legs dangling over the side. I've got 10 minutes.
You're playing dirty. No. I look over to this fella right here. He's like, "Hey, you mind lending me a hand?"
That's cheating. No outside
Hey,
influence.
Hey, you used magic, so it's fair game.
Just because I use magic, I didn't actually hurt you with it.
I thought this was a spar.
Well,
This isn't far.
That's
Yeah,
why I'm
you-
asking.
I
I
know
don't
roll
want to
break.
be a
She did
part.
it many times.
she's trying to take pot shots. She's cheating.
Hmm.
I
Or
don't
am
think
I
you really
using all
put
of my
any
skills
rules.
to my advantage, like a pirate.
The only rules I remember hearing you all talk about was using training weapons. Otherwise, everything else seemed to be on the table, in all honesty.
I do remember that.
Well, I guess I am stuck here for a little bit.
Woo!
Well, unless I am I able to pull out this this broom?
Yeah.
I pull out this broom and place myself on top of it and begin trying to fly.
Okay. Follow ceiling. I would say that since it does give you a flying speed, and that's one of the things that essentially counter the levitate spell, you are yet clear to do so.
And now was that an object interaction or was that my action?
To pull it out is a action, I believe, to like mount up and start using it.
Okay, cool. So I am going to fly over to her and attempt to grapple with my bonus action.
What's the save?
Should be you either get to use athletics or acrobatics, your choice.
Oh man, lucky.
Okay.
So Angie pulls out the broom of flying, mounts up, and starts to fly forward. And she holds out her right arm and tries to grab you. And as she does so, even though you're sitting there nonchalantly, you sort of like roll back and sort of flip to where she misses her grab on you completely.
Boom.
All right, and then we're gonna end there for now.
Okay. I'm gonna smack her again.
That is a
Shit,
miss.
What the hell is happening right now?
Oh, looks like she's got you now!
And that laughter is coming from Angelica because she's having the time of her life right now.
Um, see here. What can I do? All right. Bonus action. I am. Cadfan is with me currently. I am going to merge with him and fly
Okay.
away.
Okay. You become Cadfan. You start flying away. Angelica, you do get an opportunity attack if you wish. I believe. Oh, yeah, that hits. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Cadfan only has 1 HP.
I think he's got more.
I don't
know
think.
where he is.
I'm pretty sure he counts as a find familiar spell. If I'm not mistaken. Let's see.
I don't know. I have to look. I don't think I have a cheat sheet for him.
You do in the what's it called? If you go to player extras in the journals or in the actors directory, so players folder, there's a players extra folder, and Cadfan's sitting in there. And the spirit assumes the form game statistics of a raven. So the raven has 1 HP. So Cadfan, as you start to fly away, he punches Cadfan, which poofs, and you fall in its place.
Cool.
And everyone's like, oh! Oh!
Do I fall down below deck or?
No, you're
I
essentially,
fly over?
you stay essentially right where you're at.
All right, fine. Well, that sucked. So I'm gonna move 20 feet then. I'm just gonna walk this way. Wait, why can't I move? Let me move.
I've noticed that for some reason, I think there's a module that's either slowing things down substantially, or it's this map itself because of how big it is.
Yeah, it won't let me move. I was gonna go over to the faraway stairs.
Yeah, I think it's like lagging out real bad.
So just pretend I'm over there.
There we go.
Right there.
Yeah.
Okay. So she runs away after attempting to fly away, but it didn't work. So now it is you, Angelica, I believe.
That was rude, Angie.
Hey,
Cadfan
fair
didn't do
game.
anything to you.
He'll be back tomorrow.
Speaking of, did you want to like go to a certain number of HP, because I think
Yes.
us
How?
like just hitting at each other until we're both knocked out will take a pretty long time.
Oh yeah, we're not doing
out of
that.
Yeah, out of character. I guess. Whoever.
Huh?
I guess out of character, whoever gets like, I don't know, 15.
What are we going to?
15 points. 15, 20 points, maybe.
15? I feel like that's still a
Yeah.
lot. Well,
10 points
like,
then?
If it makes it a little easier because of the fact that Angelica is able to outrun Maeve in all shapes and forms, you guys can just go ahead and just roll until someone hits that 15 points deficit.
Okay.
Angie's at a -3 right now, and Maeve is a -4. Because yeah, with the moving not being very fast for whatever reason, and Angelica having more speed than Maeve anyway, you guys are going to end up attacking each other each turn anyway.
Right.
okay. All right, so on my turn, and then Angie, you can go first on the fourth hit.
Alright, so I guess
We'll just
fly over here.
We'll end the encounter because we don't need it. We'll keep the music, but you guys just end up duking it out. So go ahead and do your 3, then Maeve will do her 1, and you'll do your 3. Now if you want to cast any spells, Maeve, you can do so.
I might.
Well, because she wants to do that. Grapple.
Because if I get bored, then I'm just like, ugh. Let's just end this.
Grapple.
I don't believe Maeve is able to beat that at all, so that is a grapple. I believe
can
that's your
try.
bonus action, right? Oh.
Go ahead and try.
I have
Yeah,
to
my
take
bad.
this phone
I'm
call.
gonna try.
Joe,
yeah,
if
yeah.
you could, I guess, mediate for me, I'll be right back.
Fuck, I was so
You were
close.
close though.
I was so close.
All right, now I
If you
use
guys
my
need
two
an
hit.
adult to step in, to let me know.
You might need to step in. All right, go ahead and hit me then.
Oh no, I missed the second
Missed.
one. Damn. All right, your turn.
Okay.
All right, I guess you can attempt to get out of that if you want.
You mean? Well, I can still hit you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just gonna hit.
Oh snap.
Boom.
All right. Wait, so are we starting
So,
now with the points?
We're
or
at.
are we?
Oh, we're even now. We're at 4-4.
Oh snap. Well, 5-4.
No, you grappled me. Does that
Yeah,
still
then
do
I-
damage?
Yeah, and I still have 2 hits after that.
No, you missed that one.
I missed 1, and then I got the second hit. I used my bonus action to grapple you.
Oh.
And
You only
then I-
have 2 hits though.
Yeah, and I hit 1 and missed the other one.
Oh, okay. I'm confused. It's fine.
Yeah, the red one is the miss, and the 29 is the hit.
Oh, I thought that was the grapple.
Yeah, I had to always use my athletics as my grapple.
Oh, wait, that's what I missed. Your athletics. It doesn't matter. Go.
All right. So we're gonna go ahead and hit you with a 3-piece.
I think the 13's a miss.
13 is definitely a miss.
So 2. So you got 7
Well, but
now.
then again, I think I have advantage. Hey Joe, does that miss or hit that 13?
Why do you have advantage?
Because I have a grappler.
Grappling's just 0 movement speed, nothing else. Unless you have a specific class feature.
Well, I don't care to look. Well, that's a miss then. Fuck it. All right, so I guess first one hits.
Second one hits.
All right,
Third
so
one misses. So you're at 7.
7. All right, your turn.
Cool. I'm gonna hit you with Eldritch Blast, but like a non-lethal version of it.
Not lethal Eldritch Blast.
Oh fuck!
It's at disadvantage.
Your Eldritch Blast is at disadvantage.
Yeah, you're close to me.
Well, it doesn't matter. That's a 1. I was gonna miss no matter what.
All right.
Son of a bitch. I don't think I have any more bonus actions. Fine. What's it against? My strength, right?
Well, what is it?
To break the grapple, is that your question?
No, for a miss on his attack.
A miss? Oh my god. What are you asking? I'm sorry. Are you trying to dodge his attack?
No, I mean like he rolled a 16. And my strength, dex, and constitution are all at 16.
Do you need me to calculate your armor class?
Yeah,
What?
it should be your AC.
Oh, my AC is 16 too, so you missed, right?
Okay.
Meets it, beats it, you're hit.
Wait, so meets it means I'm hit?
Mm-hmm. If
Oh,
you
okay.
meet it, you beat it. So he meets your AC, so he beats it.
Okay. So hit. So you're 8.
All right, 8, and then 2 more. 9, 10.
9, 10. You win. Good job, Angie.
No, we gotta go to 15.
No, I wanted to go to 10.
No.
You want me to hit? Oh, actually, you want to try it? Okay, my turn.
Yeah, then where there's a will, there's a way. You'll figure it out. Look at that. So that's like with disadvantage, so
Let's see. 9, 10, 11, 12.
I think it's a miss.
I'm at 14.
Yeah, that's a miss. My AC's 18.
What?
Yeah.
That's a hit. I rolled a 22.
Yeah, but it's at with disadvantage though, because I'm grappling you still.
No. Joe said grapple doesn't matter. I'm not moving.
What do you mean that grapple doesn't matter? Grappling makes their speed 0. That's all it does.
Yeah. And I'm not moving. So I'm at 14. Go ahead.
Oh. Okay. I think you missed, but okay.
I didn't miss.
All right. Well, since she's using Eldritch Blast, okay. Well, I'm sorry, Maeve, but I'm gonna have to use an unarmed strike on you. Oh no, it missed. The irony.
The irony. Yep. All right.
Well, hold
One
on.
more just for effect. Oh, okay.
Cool. And then I'm gonna use my bonus action to attack again.
Okay.
There you go.
Are you machine the table? Why?
And we're donesy.
What is that for you?
And then I guess I straight up say, yeah, whew, you had enough.
How many are you at now?
Yeah. Oh, I'm just getting started. Oh. And you see Angelica's eyes like slowly going, oh, I gotta control myself. I'm having too much fun right now. Yeah. No. All right, we're done. Yeah, it's pretty sneaky. I guess the music is gonna throw it off.
I can't be pretty when I want to be.
Oh, all right. Hey, pretty good with that scythe. See, what you could do is...
Siren going off. Oh, she stopped. There it goes.
Oh dear, is that a squeaky toy?
Sure is.
Oh, God.
Did Snoopy find one on the poop deck?
Charlie loves that toy. Oh, there she goes again.
Oh, what a cutie.
Yeah,
It doesn't stop, ever.
as I say to May, like, all right, yeah, I mean, you're pretty good with that scythe. So, but what you could do is I just start, like, as time passes, just doing movements and all that, seeing if she can emulate it.
I don't know.
I have no clue now because Bray's on the phone call. I wanted to.
I don't know. What can I roll for that? Like,
I just roll some stuff to see if you can emulate whatever I'm doing or whatever.
nope. I failed. Let's do another one. I was mediocre that time.
So you watch Maeve
sit on that one.
tries to imitate his shadow boxing, and she like kind of trips, and her leg falls through one of the portcullis holes, and she falls on her face.
Like as she's like doing, as she's doing the shadow boxing, like you see her doing a very like, very uncoordinated, like feminine type of way of like a woman who's like never like really punched before.
Yes, you. No, just a clumsy way.
Yeah, like
I'm just
very
She actually loses to her shadow in her shadow boxing. You've never seen such a thing.
the first time. I progressively get better.
Hey man, what is Zuka doing in this situation? Well, I guess he's chilling. All right.
What's Snoopy doing?
Alright, I'm back. Sorry. Is Gerald AFK for real?
Yeah, I think he
That's
is.
hilarious.
Well, yeah, but I was saying, like, I was just doing movement. Like, yeah, you're really good with that side. What you could do is you could do this, and I'm just doing movements and all that, hoping that, like pretty much like with my axe, like a great axe, like yeah, you could do movements like this, pretty much to try and like emulate, like like someone who would like hold a scythe or something like that. Seeing if she can emulate it and follow me and etc. etc.
The first time we decided May falls into a portcullis, but then I progressively get better.
I can dig that.
And then I give her a pat on the shoulder. All right,
Sweet.
it was great.
Now I'm a master at the side, right, Brady?
No,
God damn it.
it's
Why
not
am I
that
rolling a
quick.
concentration check?
When you take damage, it should be making you do a concentration. I don't think. Are you still concentrating on levitation anyway?
No.
Okay.
It just popped up saying roll a concentration check.
Poor old man came riding by.
Yeah. So after that
Yeah.
fun little bit, as you guys are all kind of hanging out and stuff, Zuka's probably fucking off in the room. I don't know what he's doing, so.
Man, Zuka is like by far the most antisocial dude in the party so far.
I'm assuming it's because Gerald's probably actually watching The Mandalorian right now instead of playing, which is, I guess on him.
Well, I mean, we did just have a 30-minute episode of 1v1 one.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest. I was over here asleep.
Oh shit, he's
I'm gonna
sleeping.
be real. I leaned my chair back and I passed out.
You not been sleeping well, bro?
No, wasn't nothing going on. Y'all wasn't asking. Like, I'm finna just go. I went in my room and I went to sleep.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, as you guys are sailing forward,
God damn it.
the person in the crow's nest,
Now he's gonna kill us all.
All your fault.
person in the crow's nest shouts, "Ahead! About 200 feet! Someone's floating towards us!" And everyone stops singing and they're all like, "Huh?" The captain comes up, grabs a spyglass and looks out and notices this entity that's about 200 feet out and is like, I knew that the sea was too calm for good fortune. And he then goes over towards the side of the boat and looks over. Look at that. Sails are full of wind, yet we're not moving an inch. A lot of the crew look over and there's no ripple. There's no sign of movement from the boat, except for the occasional when a nice big gust of wind comes forward and sort of shoves the boat forward. You see it move, but then you see the water essentially grabbing hold and bringing it right back to its resting position. As the entity floats sort of on this geyser of water, it's directly in front of the ship about 200 feet away, and you watch as it moves its hands and it makes a gesture raising both hands up. And as that happens, a large wall of water appears about 100 feet tall in front of the ship, and a face appears. Show you what the face looks like. Face kind of looks like this dude's face. You guys see that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why has he got like spider legs? That's kind of creepy.
Does he have spider leg? That's seaweed. Something.
Hairy looking.
No, that's definitely spider legs.
Spider
Alright.
legs!
Let me just change his character sheet real quick. Spider climb.
No, absolutely not. Don't do it.
Is he a simic hybrid? That would make kind of sense.
As the wall of water is there in front of you, and this face that's at least 20 foot by 20 foot is looking at you, it starts to speak.
And who we have here? You all are quite a long ways from home, are you not? And yet you trespass in my master's territory? What trinkets, what items of value have you brought as a gift for my master? As a gift for Futon?
A gift for who? Futon?
The whole party looks over to the captain.
Captain looks back at you
Right.
guys and shakes his head and is like, well, unfortunately I don't have any precious cargo today. So I think it's gonna come out of our pockets as a whole.
Mm.
Everybody, if you have it, past 4 weeks' wages, I'll make sure to compensate you when we get back to port. And everyone kind of groans, and you can see as some of them start to pull sacks of gold from their coats and their belt pouches.
No, 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 no. My god does not want your money. Money does not buy you anything in the darkest depths of the ocean. No. Items of magical value. That is the prize. That is the price. What all will you give up? The more precious, the more I can assure that your voyage will go swimmingly.
Ooh. Magic. Hmm. Start looking in my bag. How about this magical staff thingy? I pull out the staff of defense.
Okay.
Is that all you wish to part with?
I'm like rummaging through the bag and like.
See Captain Varnus sort of stroke his chin. A hunk of cheese, huh?
It's magical.
It's my prized possession. I'm sorry.
Captain Varnus shouts, I don't have any way to compensate anyone for their magical heirlooms, especially those that have been descended from your families. I cannot ask you to do such a sacrifice, but it does seem that whatever we give up gives us a better chance of making it to our destination. And you watch as he takes out his spyglass from his pocket. I offer you this as well.
Ah. And what else do you wish to part with? The greater the value, the better chances you have on the seas.
I walk over to Snoopy and squat towards him and like open my bag up and show him the staff of 4 seasons. that was owned by Quinn. Like, should I?
I think that will do it.
All right. And I pull out the Staff of Four Seasons. And I'm like, how about this as well?
And is that all that you wish to give?
Yeah, that's all I honestly have. Anybody else have anything? I'll look over to Snoopy, Zuka, and Maeve.
I have magical ammo. And I suppose a hunk of cheese. And maybe even this little bow. And I like hold up Vigilus.
Oh, I have one more thing. I pull out the Wand of Magic Detection. How about this?
And is that all that you wish?
That's all I have, unless anybody else want to add to that.
You guys want me to give him the carpet? I whisper to them.
No, this is enough. Or too much. Not. I must say that you're not gonna. Not too many boats are gonna have this many magical items on them, anyways. Not sure really what is expected here. That Staff of the Four Seasons is pretty rare.
Very well. Hold on to your items, though. Let me see their worth before I take them from you.
And after he says that, you feel a large something from the back of the boat hit the very back end of the boat and make the boat turn 180 degrees. As you look over the side of the deck, you can see a large shadow that sweeps from below the boat and then goes underneath the water. The size of the shadow is roughly 40 feet by 40 feet from what you can gauge with how quick it is.
I would patch that up if I were you.
And as you watch as this large wave of water starts to, the face melts back into it to where it's just a wall of water. But you notice as it starts to fall forward towards the ship. And as it comes crashing down, I need everybody to roll me a dexterity saving throw. Okay, so let's see. So Maeve and Angelica fail. Rakim and Snoopy succeed. So Snoopy, because of your one thing you don't
legs.
take. No, because of your, what is it called? It's that
Oh,
thing that rogues get.
evasion.
Yeah, evasion. You take no damage. Maeve and Angelica, you guys both take 24 bludgeoning damage as the wall of water crashes onto you. And Rakim, you only take 12 bludgeoning damage. Maeve and Angelica also are prone.
So is the ship upside down or turned on its side?
No, the ship it's still right side up. It just got moved.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
And let's see, that actually does. Let's see. That's enough damage to do. Oh, why don't these guys have HP? Oh no, my token. Anyway, all of these poor pirates, um, even the one, there's only 2 of them that survived. 3 of them that survived. I don't
Damn.
know. Yeah,
Yeah.
but for some reason they don't have health for me to take away. See if
The
making
whole crew's dead? Oh.
go. The whole crew on the top deck anyway.
Including Captain?
No, he's fine. Him and the first mate are good.
I
It's
tell you
most
what,
of
if a
these
water
dwarf
tenacity gets killed by a water wall, that's pretty bold.
takes half
This
damage.
is just sounding vaguely familiar.
How?
Oh,
Huh?
How?
Oh, just like the big boom, and now there's probably water coming into the ship, and then we're all probably gonna drown, and then, you know.
Titanic?
Bro, don't remind him.
Um, I lost all. Captain Varnus only did half. Rakim needs to lose 12.
Did Gerald fall asleep again?
No. Okay, so the wall of water crashes on top of the entire ship, and you notice that it's enough pressure to where it kind of like bobs it down, and then it jumps up, and you can hear all types of things underneath the deck starting to jumble and move around. And then from the outside, you can see that creature coming back as it bursts through the waves for just a moment and hits right up against the side of the ship, causing a very large hole to be created in the side of the ship, as it essentially has this guttural scream that doesn't sound like any noise that a creature that looks like a shark should sound like. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Dang, not a crack.
Double shark. Okay. Yeah, he really came and checked out those items all right.
well, no, right?
Yeah, those might be good enough. I can't tell from here. Kills the entire crew.
Hey,
Yeah,
man, you
hold
gotta
on
make
to
sure.
that. Let me check this. Hold on 1 second. Let me check.
All right, guys. I will talk to you later.
Later, Dieter.
Bye. Have a good
Sounds like
night.
we're gonna die very soon. Hopefully, you guys can doggy paddle. All right, bye.
Well, we know no matter what, Snoopy's gonna survive. So.
That's just what happens.
If
To his
anything,
detriment.
Hannibal is ready whenever.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
I'll end my stream real quick. I'll be right back. All right, appreciate everyone coming out. Hopefully you had a good old time. This combat is essentially just I wanted to see what they would be willing to give up, and based on how the combat goes, I fully anticipate them to beat it. But you never know. Rolls could not go in their favor, as happens from time to time anyway. And I wanted to try out this Megalodon creature. It's only a CR6. It's not like very big in terms of like obviously it's huge on the screen, but it's going to be terrorizing the boat. So this is going to force them to go underwater to fight right up against it, which could be a very bad idea. Depending on how they do things, it could be a terrible idea. I might actually have to improve this map by making a second one that essentially shows the depth of everything and widen it out, because I was expecting them to be like, I want to go and explore. the ship and try to go down and see what's going on down underneath where they were told specifically not to go. But again, they've not wanted to do that, which is hilarious. So, yeah, next week we fight a megalodon, and eventually we'll get to this dude. I'm sure you guys can see him. He's hanging out. He's around. He's around. So thanks again for coming out, and we'll see you next time. Peace.